Hey, everybody, come on in. Let everybody get logged in here. Hope everybody is doing well. All right, somebody give me a thumbs up and let me know you can hear us and that you can see us. Yes. All right, can you see us? You see Brian's
Presentation.
okay,
All right.
presentation. Yes.
Hey, we're
All
getting better at
right.
this, buddy. We're getting better.
Hey, we are. We're getting better. We're getting better tools too.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick this thing off. Welcome, everybody. We're so glad that you could join us tonight. I'm going to lead us off here. Brian Olson is the kind of person who never stopped looking for the next great opportunity. Over the years, he and I have tried our hand at more than a few opportunities because that's just kind of who we are.
Yeah.
But in 2019, something clicked. He took $3,000 off a credit card, started selling on Amazon, and never looked back. Today, that journey has turned into coaching that has helped hundreds of everyday people find real footing in e commerce. He's a strategist, a builder, and someone who believes the time to start is always right now. Please welcome my husband,
Mm,
my best friend,
mm.
and my partner, Brian Olson.
And by the way, none of that would have been possible without you by my side. In fact, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today without you there. Robin's the one who brings the energy. She brings the passion. I mean, we both bring passion, but she brings a lot of passion, a lot of passion. And I'm super proud that we are able to work together, and I got as lucky as I did. Well, uh, let's kind of get into it here. I'll go ahead and tell you, you're going to lead tonight, I hope, knowing exactly where the opportunity on this platform has moved, why most sellers can't see it, and how to build a system that finds that opportunity for you every single week. Sound good?
Brian, can I interrupt you for just a
Yeah.
moment? I'm sorry, we've
Yeah.
got a couple of people with their hand up, and I want to make sure everybody can hear.
Yep.
Kelly, what can I help you with? Go ahead and talk. Kelly?
She's
Oh,
on. Yeah.
I was just like saying hi.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
Waving.
gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that the same for you, Melinda? Are you there, Melinda? You saying hi?
Yes.
Okay. Hi back. Okay, I thought those were hands raised. Thank you. Please continue, Brian. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Yep. No worries. All right. You're going to know exactly where the opportunity moved, why most sellers are not seeing it, and how to build a system that finds it for you every week. All right. So yeah, Robin, wow, time flies when you're having fun, and we're having a ton of fun. I'm Brian. Thank you for being here. I've been selling on Amazon for 7 years. Hard to believe it's been that long already. Robin Joy and myself, we've been coaching for over 5 via one-on-one and group coaching, and we've coached over 1,000 sellers in those settings. We've sold multiple millions on the platform. The podcast that we co-host has over 6 million downloads with countless success stories from clients that we've coached who were interviewed on that same show. Some of them may be here tonight. I can't see all the attendees, and I started to make a list and then it wouldn't fit on the slide. So I just left it off. But here's why any of that matters to you today. Okay. We're still in the data every single day. We're not retired sellers telling you how it used to work. Okay, we're active sellers who noticed that the platform was shifting because we were on it when it happened, and so were our coaching clients. So by the end of this hour, you're going to understand 4 specific things about how the Amazon marketplace actually works right now that the traditional teaching community hasn't completely addressed. And the next time you look at a listing, I promise you're going to see it completely differently. And you're going to understand why the sellers who keep saying that the opportunity is dead are not necessarily wrong about what they're experiencing. They're just wrong about the why. And I guess if I'm wrong, at least you got out of doing the dishes for an hour. Okay. So this is the story that most sellers are telling right now, that it's gotten really hard. It's gotten uber competitive and that their margins keep shrinking. And it feels like the small seller just keeps getting squeezed. But by the end of tonight, you're going to see something different, I hope. The platform has evolved in ways that created some structural advantages for the informed reseller. That's us, and hopefully you soon. It didn't really get harder. It actually got easier in a lot of ways, if you know where to look. Okay, and we're going to show you that tonight. You're just not shown the updated map because it has changed. So we're going to unpack 3 things tonight that the traditional playbook got wrong or is out of date on, and what the informed reseller sees instead. And each one reshapes how you're going to see the landscape. But let me take a minute and tell you how we got here, okay? This is not a workshop on how to get better at the process that you're already running. If the process was built for a version of Amazon that no longer exists, getting better at it is not the answer. The map that you were given was drawn for a road that's been rerouted, maybe torn up and repaved in a completely different configuration. And we're here to show you that updated map. So a couple of years ago, we started hearing the same things from a lot of different directions, that the margins are gone and everything is getting really competitive, that the golden era of arbitrage is over. In fact, we heard it earlier this year. There were some painting a Marketplace Pulse data report as the case that the era was over. And I've already heard about many longtime sellers who are retiring, and Facebook groups are full of people saying it's not worth it anymore. And here's the honest part. Maybe 3 years ago, we kind of were feeling that same way because we were looking at the same listings that everyone else was looking at, the higher velocity products, the ones selling thousands of units a month, selling at buy box. And on those listings, yeah, the margins were thin. We were competing against Amazon many times and against wholesale operations with these massive logistics infrastructure, against a seller who could afford to make 5% margins work because they were moving so much volume. Think of the Walmart model, right? So we were chasing the scoreboard, right? The gold bar screenshots, the big revenue days, and we're running on a treadmill, feeling like we were just trying to catch up. And then some things started happening that we couldn't explain. We were given a tip, actually, by Jim Cochran, which I'll get into later. But we started investigating listings a little more in detail than we had. And a listing that we had almost passed on because Keepa said it was going to be a little tight ended up selling at a price that neither of us expected. So a product in a range that the traditional playbook told us to ignore. So we ended up holding our price when everyone else was dropping theirs, and a week later, we were the ones getting paid. And those kinds of things kept happening, and it was too consistent to be luck. And it didn't fit the narrative that the opportunity was over. There was actually something else going on. So we stopped asking, how do we find better products? And we started asking, what is the platform actually doing that we haven't been paying attention to? Now, here's the 4 things that we lured you here with, right? The 4 changes in the marketplace that we want to cover tonight. First of all, we realized that the data signal on Keepa had changed and nobody told us. I'll give you a real life example of when that happened to me. Next, we realized that the price on the chart was only one geography's price. Third, we realized that prices dropping on our new listings was not necessarily the market rejecting our price. Frequently, it was a timing dynamic that's created by an Amazon program that we didn't even know we were enrolled in. And finally, we realized that the part of the catalog that we had been taught to overlook was actually the part where the economics actually worked. So the margins didn't shrink. We were just looking in the wrong part of the catalog with an outdated understanding of what the data was showing us, and reacting to signals that weren't really what they appeared to be. So we were not in a dying market. We were using a map that had not been updated. If I could say that a few more times, that would be cool. For the new platform that had actually been built. All right. And once we saw it, we couldn't unsee it. And if anyone here has coached with us, you know, we talk about this all the time. And that's a little bit of what we're going to walk you through tonight, actually a lot bit. All right, let's talk about the sweet spot that a lot of people are overlooking, okay? First of all, I want to dive into a listing that sells 4,000 times a month and talk about what does that actually look like from the inside. Because that's the kind of listing that most sellers have been trained to chase. High velocity with strong sales rank, and it looks like a great opportunity. But here's what that velocity actually requires in order to sustain. Okay, if you're going to maintain 4,000 units of monthly sell-through, there typically needs to be 2 to 3 times that volume of inventory already flowing through the system at all times, if not more. We're talking about inbound shipments, warehouse stock, units in transit. That is 8 to 12,000 units or more that are already in the pipeline. And a significant chunk of that may be Amazon itself and those big wholesale operations who can afford to make the single-digit margins work because they're moving so many units a day. Well, with that much inventory in the system, it doesn't matter how good your sourcing is. Supply is going to meet demand and the price is going to find a floor. There's just too much product chasing the group of buyers. So Amazon and the big wholesale resellers, they thrive on these listings because their systems make that single-digit margin work at volume, okay? They trade these massive margin dollars for thin percentages. That is their game. But when you chase those same listings, you get their margins without their volume. So you're trying to run with the big dogs without the big dogs' infrastructure. And the math, it does not math. So now let's look at the other end. These very slow-moving ASINs, they may sell a few units a month. There's not enough demand to build on here, and this is why they're frequently avoided by a lot of people. But the space in between, those listings that are selling 50 to 200 times a month, this pipeline is not usually saturated, okay? I'm talking about the inventory pipeline. So Amazon and the big wholesalers, they don't have any economic reason to hang out in that space. It's just not worth their time, so they're not there. When the pipeline is not saturated, then supply and demand is unequal. And that means the price is usually not decided. And that's where pricing discovery opportunity lives. Now, if you open just about any Amazon seller group right now, you'll see gold bars galore. I know, a little bit contradictory to the people who are getting out, but I mean, there's a lot of people who are doing really well right now. And it's actually a good time for resellers. You'll see like $5,000 days, $100,000 months, and that's the scoreboard, okay? Nobody's posting a screenshot of their 8 units at 30% margin or 110% ROI, except for Jim and us and a few people who are exercising this strategy. But those 8 units at 30% margin are generating far more profit per dollar invested than the $5,000 day at 7%. The scoreboard just doesn't show it. So the game that we're playing is building a catalog of hundreds of these listings, each one contributing to your profit. So the volume comes from the breadth of what you carry, not the depth of any single listing. And if 100 listings sounds like a lot, I'm going to blow your mind in a few minutes when I show you how you may already have 30,000 ASINs that you're approved to sell, and you just don't know it. Now, you might be thinking, is this range more or less risky than the others? And it's not any more or less susceptible to price tanking. Actually, it kind of is, because the demand is lower on these typically. And so if someone shows up with a boatload of inventory, yeah, it could be susceptible to price tanking. But scale the risk, right? If you have 8,000 units in the pipeline and the price drops, that's bet big, lose big. But if a 3-unit test doesn't work out, that's totally manageable. The risk is real in either case, though, right? It's the scale that's the difference. So while there are many out there complaining that the margins have shrunk, we're over here building catalogs of products where margins are healthy and the pipeline is not saturated and the big players have no economic reason to show up. So this game is about profit. It's not about volume. We're playing a completely different game. And the advantage is structural, and we're going to continue to show you that tonight. The economics of saturated versus unsaturated distribution networks are not going to get patched in an algorithm update. This is just part of standard economics. These are platform mechanics, not hacks. So while many are saying that margins have shrunk, we're here to tell you margins are thin everywhere that everyone else is looking, but they're healthy where almost nobody is. Here's a good example. Jane, coaching client of mine, she's a solo Amazon seller. She had 80,000 items in her database. And with her old filtering approach, she was finding maybe 2 testable leads. But after one pipeline run through the system that I'm going to show you a little bit later tonight, she found 386. Not 386 leads that she was approved to sell, 386 testable leads. So she was looking at the same catalog pretty much as everyone else. She just needed to look in the right part of it. Now, one of Robin's favorite topics, and also mine. This is the panic window. I want to tell you about another time that changed how we think about every listing that we touch. Because we had inventory on its way to Amazon, and the listing started dropping in price. Does it ever happen to anyone here? Like, ask me how I know, right? And not just a little, it felt like a lot. And every instinct was like, just go ahead and get ahead of it, lower the price before the margin's gone, right? And for the first time, we chose not to chase the price. because we had just actually figured out what was happening. So Amazon has a program called In-Stock Head Start, and every seller is automatically enrolled. You didn't sign up for it, I promise you. When your product is out of stock or you're sending inventory with no available stock, Amazon can make it buyable before your inventory arrives. It doesn't happen on every listing, but it happens on a lot. Now, the intention's generous, right? Like it gives you more time to sell, but the listing goes active with this estimated delivery time stretching 7, 10, sometimes 14 or more days. And if you've not heard me say this before, let me say it now. And if you have heard it, it's important enough for me to say again. Many, if not most, Amazon customers are shopping for speed and convenience, not price. They see that delivery window and they just scroll right on by. So sales are barely coming in, right? And most sellers see that slow movement and they think, well, look at I'm here. I must need to lower my price if I want a sale. Or they start panicking and they're like, oh, I got to get out before all the margin disappears on this. So they drop their price. And what happens is the automated repricing tools start to amplify that. And within 72 hours, what was a typical healthy looking listing can look completely broken. And we call this the panic window, and it's usually a self-inflicted wound. So those sellers locked into a low price that on a product that hasn't even shipped yet, okay? And they're not even going to get paid until 7 days after delivery to the customer. So like it just doesn't make any sense. The math doesn't math here either, right? They sacrificed the margin and they didn't even get paid faster, which is the worst of both worlds. Now, you're probably wondering, how long does this actually take? How long before the panic window closes and prime delivery kicks in? I'll say this. It depends on the listing, but generally you're looking at 7 to 14 days after your product gets checked in and received by Amazon. Sometimes sooner, sometimes longer. So I want you to think about the last time that you went to a ball game, okay? Those hot dogs that they sell at the stadium, nobody goes to the ball game expecting to get a bargain on a hot dog, right? You'll pay $8 for a $2 hot dog all day long because you want it now while you're in your seat during the third inning. And the price is basically irrelevant. The timing is everything. Okay, that is unless you're a Rockies fan because they had 2-for-1 hot dogs today. So you can get a deal there because they need to pull out all the stops to get people to show up because that team is not good. Anyway. Many Amazon buyers are working exactly the same way, right? They came for the delivery and the convenience and not the discount. And I just heard Matt Hassler on the podcast the other day say, look, if I'm shopping Amazon, when I'm shopping Amazon, if I can't get my product by the next morning, I'm going somewhere else, right? So these buyers were time sensitive all along, and they don't really show up until the prime window delivery is available. So when inventory clears processing and your prime delivery activates for your product, the panic window then closes and the prime window opens for you. Okay. And the sellers that held their price are the ones that are positioned to serve the market at full margin. Okay. Don't start repricing before you're in the prime window. The sellers who panicked may have already burned through their inventory, competing for the wrong customers and not making any money for it. And this is where the I'm too small belief gets totally shattered, okay? The big dogs need big capital because they play in this volume zone. But you don't have to. We don't. If you test with 3 to 5 units, the test itself becomes the intelligence. Now, this is a business decision, and if your business can sustain 10, 20 units for a test, then send that in, okay? But if that amount of units on a test makes you pucker a little bit, then maybe you should dial it back, right? The test is going to give you the real world data that you need in order to make a decision about whether you want to replenish. And I want to be clear about something because this is where a lot of people get us wrong because you say it one time and then it gets like stamped on a coin. I mean, not our pictures or anything, but right, stamped in stone. Like we're not saying to always replenish 3 to 5 units. The test will tell you how the listing performs. And when you get that data, that's when you follow up with your replenishments. And replenishments are usually more than 3 to 5 units, not always. So you want to scale up to maximize your sales. So what does that look like? So like if a 3-unit test sells through at the price that you wanted in the time frame that you expected, now you've got real evidence. And that's when you start sending in more, 10, right? If 10 sold, then maybe you send in 20. If 20 sold in the, again, at the price you wanted in the time frame you expected, then you're going to scale up accordingly. The test has given you the permission to commit. And you keep on replenishing as long as that data holds. And that's how you build a catalog that compounds instead of starting over every single week. And just a real quick point. If you haven't listened to Matt Hassler's podcast, I think it was out last week. Great listen. And he dropped a little nugget there. I'm not sure how many people caught it, but he still runs a replens business, even though he's heavy into wholesale, from ASINs that he found back in 2022. So when you find good ASINs, you can have them for a long time. Now, we always price regardless of the buy box, and I want to give credit to Jim Cockrum here. I mentioned him earlier. He first introduced us to the concept of pricing above the buy box, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it at first. I was like, well, why would I ever want to price there, right? But Jim knows a lot. Jim knows a lot of people. Jim's been at this longer than I have. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. Now, and it worked. That's the example I was giving to you before. And we've ended up putting a little bit more of a framework around it. So we price at the highest price point that we have evidence that that item has been priced for over the last 90 days. Okay. So if that price has existed in that 90-day window and has contributed to the average sell price, you're usually going to be okay with that price. Not always, but the test is going to tell you. We know that it's limited visibility, but this is still better than just matching the current buy box. And you can always lower your price. Now, here's a couple of examples. My numbers aren't exactly right here because I can't see those numbers, but let's say the buy box may have been bouncing around between 18 and 22 bucks for a long time. But there was a buy box maybe more than a month ago that it was at $24. And so we will price our inventory when we send it in at $24 and make sales. So the chart gave us the hypothesis and then the tests confirmed it, right? When a high velocity listing tanks and you've got 8,000 units in the pipeline, that's bet big, lose big. But when a 3-unit test doesn't work out, that exposure is completely manageable. So your size is not a disadvantage. It is a strategic asset. And one more thing while we're here, if you've ever seen an order with a pending customer payment status and you heard someone say, or you read in the Facebook group that a competitor is stashing your inventory in their cart, so they don't have to compete against you, that's not what's happening. Okay, Amazon doesn't charge the customer until they pick, pack, and ship that item to the customer. Okay, the status is just in stock head start working exactly as it's designed. So it may seem like it's a payment processing issue only because Amazon hasn't started the process. So you can completely opt out of the in-stock head start program. Okay, this is done in Seller Central in your FBA settings. It's at the account level though. Okay, so it is all or nothing. Now, our view is to go ahead and stay enrolled and just understand the dynamic and use it in your favor, right? The panic window only hurts you if you don't know what you're looking at, and now you do. So you don't have to bet more than you can afford to learn what you need to know. Again, a lot of people said I'm too small to compete. Actually, I just showed you how your size can be a strategic advantage. Here's another example. Kenny, coaching client of ours. He's also a solo Amazon seller. He was sourcing one brand at a time. And after running the pipeline one time, he had 528 approved brands. His numbers are a little off here. Most people have way more than 4,000 approved ASINs. And 55 testable leads, though, from that one single run. I mean, he's going to keep building up that list of approved ASINs, and the number's going to grow and be closer to Jane's. And in his words, it was a bit anticlimactic, but I'm not complaining, right? I no longer need to search for one brand at a time. And to me, and hopefully to you, anticlimactic means that the system did the heavy lifting, and that's exactly the point. Okay, let me take a drink here. Let's talk about the data, the geography, and the gates, because as a data person, this is where things start to get really, really fun, okay? At the workshop last year in Orlando, we pulled up a Keepa chart that by every traditional measure, everything I've been taught looked like it was dead. And I pulled it up. I had it as saved as an example. I was going to use as like, okay, here's one that we did. And off this Keepa chart started looking really funky, where the listing looked dead kind of right. The rank line was really flat. And if I'd been reading it the way I was originally taught, I would have just scrolled right by it because it didn't look right. And for a long time I did. It had hardly any drops, no visible velocity, and I was like, okay, next. But then I noticed that there was a yellow line on the chart that I had only recently started paying attention to, okay, and it said 100 plus. So 100 units bought in the past month. So the listing wasn't dead. It's just that the signal that I had been trained to read was completely off. And for years, reading a Keepa chart meant like counting those sharp drops that are in the sales rank line, and we would not really count them. Eventually, they added a number at the bottom of the chart that would tell you how many drops there were, but it was a sharp drop that they were counting, and sometimes their count was off, right? But counting the drops was the way that you estimated velocity, okay? And it was very much an indirect method. Every drop meant one or more sales typically. So we were basically navigating by watching shadows on the cave wall and not knowing what was making the shadows. Bonus points if you get the reference there. You can tell Robin Joy all about it. Then Amazon changed how sales rank is calculated. Okay, the sharp drops really started flattening out. And the chart that used to show 20, 30, or 40 drops a month started showing more like 6, 10, 12. And so sellers trained on the old signal saw these flat charts and just thought, well, these listings are dead. Like, where's all the volume? And many walked away from perfectly healthy opportunities, myself included. But then Amazon replaced that shadow with an actual window right to the truth. So they now publish this direct number, which is bought in the past month. And it's not estimated. It actually counts in tiers like 50, 100, 500, 1,000, whatever. So Keepa tracks this as a yellow line on the same chart, like not in the sales rank chart, but down below, that we're already using. So the data has gotten precise. The question is whether anyone pointed you toward it. Hopefully, if you have ever worked with us, you got the memo on that. Now, what if there is no yellow line on a listing? I think that just means you've got a question mark, not an answer. When you see a yellow line, that's like green light. You're good to go on that. You've got strong evidence of demand. When you don't see it, it doesn't necessarily mean nothing is selling. It just means you need to dig a little bit deeper if you got the time. So here's where all these pieces start to connect. Okay, the yellow line confirms that the demand exists in the 50 to 200 range. Actually, choose 199, but it was easier to say 200. But the price that you see on the same Keepa chart comes from only one single geographic region. And Keepa does not tell us which one. And there's no setting to change it. Okay, you get one region and that's it. Now, Amazon operates over 150 different fulfillment centers across the US. And products in that 50 to 200 range haven't necessarily filled the distribution network, right? Like I was talking about before, because there's just not enough inventory flowing through it. So some regions may be well served and others are being stretched to cover, stretched by another fulfillment center to get their inventory. And in those underserved regions, the feature to offer dynamics can look completely different. Okay, so the data got precise enough to show you how you can confirm demand. And that precision is what lets you exploit the geographic pricing variation that no tool can fully show you yet. There is something coming. The yellow line gets you to the starting line, though, okay? Now, here's a platform change that almost nobody talks about except when they're complaining about it, but it does tie directly to this. So when you create an inbound shipment, you have two options for your inbound shipment method. Okay, you can choose minimal shipment splits or Amazon optimized shipment splits. Now, Amazon optimized costs more for shipping, just straight up shipping because you're sending to more locations. Okay, that much is true. But what do you get in exchange for that? Number one, you get your inventory available faster and you have the opportunity to make more margin because Amazon knows where your product needs to go and is going to put it there faster than if you just send it to one place. So if you choose minimal, your inventory is going to go to fewer locations, sometimes just one, and it can take a lot longer for Amazon to redistribute it to where the demand actually is. And this is especially important when you're testing in the 50 to 200 range, where that geographic variation matters. So one of the things that hurts people in their early days is, well, if I choose the Amazon optimized and I have to send to 5 different locations, but I only have 25 units to send in, I could be spending $40 on inbound transportation, which is going to eat into my margin. And you're not wrong. All I can tell you here is if you want to go the minimal route early, be prepared to sacrifice some margin, just like you would if you're paying more for the inbound shipping. But at scale, as you start to send in more, as you start sending out 100, 150, and 200 units in a shipment, then you start getting the benefits of that optimal shipment split. So this is what geographic pricing variation looks like in the real world. Now, I've seen this once, okay? And when I saw it, I was like, oh, get the camera. Like this is good. I'm sure I'll see it again, but I just haven't actually been looking for it because I've been preparing for this thing. So this is in the wild, I'll say, right? This is the same listing, okay? The same moment with two different prices. If you're in the Facebook group, you saw me post this, okay? The price depends on where the buyer is and which fulfillment center it's serving, because I changed my zip code and I didn't get two options. I only got the $19 option. So this was only applying to me in my zip code here in Denver. I spoofed a different area. So the price on your Keepa chart is one of these. I can tell you which one it was. It was the lower one. Okay. So all of these tools have these limitations. Keepa is only showing one region, and repricers, I'm sorry to say, are acting on that same incomplete data. But the training that treats those limitations as if they don't exist is what's actually broken here, right? As long as you are aware of the problem, you can actually put things in place to address it. Now, this is another common platform evolution that the traditional playbook has just never addressed. So let's change things up a little bit, switch gears here, and talk about the gating landscape, because I hear it all the time, right? There are too many brands that are gated and it's too hard to get approved, and the platform is locking out small sellers, et cetera, et cetera. Well, here's what informed resellers understand. Okay, Amazon's gating system has 4 levels. And most sellers don't know what they actually are approved to sell because they've never mapped it out. So they hit a gate and they feel locked out. Like, have you ever tried to walk around your house with a blindfold on and you run into a wall and you just back up and turn around, go in a different direction? That's kind of what it feels like when you're running into these gated listings, right? But once you understand the system and you build your approved ASIN list, you discover that you have access to far more of the catalog than you ever thought. The gating is not keeping you out. It's actually keeping the uninformed competition out. So every gate becomes a moat around the opportunity on the other side of it. So if you thought that the platform has changed and made it unfriendly for small resellers, I'm telling you that the data, the geography, and even the gates all work in the informed reseller's favor. You just need the updated map. So while a lot of people are saying the platform moved against me, I'm showing you actually, you can leverage this in your favor. Here's Dean. He ran the full pipeline at scale, 37,508 total ASINs. And the gating system hadn't locked him out of those. He had 37,508 approved ASINs. Okay. It mapped where they were approved to sell. The gates were never the obstacle. Okay. He found 31,000 ASINs on the other side that generated between 120 and 154. I didn't get an exact number from him. Out of that exercise. Again, one run. When you do this exercise that I'm going to share with you in a minute, you do this quarterly or more frequently. If you're new and you start, you're getting more and more successful transactions, gates start to come down sooner for you. So it's something that you can run more frequently. So let me start to pull these things together for you. Okay. Now the margins didn't shrink. Okay. The economics just work differently in a different part of the catalog. You know that your size is an advantage, not an obstacle. And you know that the data, the geography, and even the gating all can work in your favor once you understand how they actually function. So I know some of you are sitting there thinking, well, I've been doing this for a year, 2 years, and I still feel like I'm starting from scratch every Monday. And, is that normal? And maybe. If you don't have a repeatable pipeline, then yeah, it's probably perfectly normal. And that's exactly what happens, right? You find a product, you sell it, it's gone, and you're back to hunting. And every week feels like the first week, like 41st dates, like Groundhog Day. And that's not a you problem, right? That's a system problem, as in you don't have one. And it's the reason that most sellers burn out before they ever really get any momentum built. The question now becomes, how do you operationalize everything that we're talking about? Because understanding the dynamics is absolutely necessary, but just understanding them is not sufficient. You need to know what you're approved to sell. You still need a way to find products at scale. You still need to keep it configured properly, and you need a decision framework that gets you from I found a product to I'm buying it in 60 seconds. Okay. That's what the modern builder stack is. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about right now. It's the pipeline for the informed reseller. Now, the stack is 4 courses, but it is one single thing, one single pipeline where each step feeds the next. Ungating solved is my favorite module. It's the first module. We unpack the 4-level gating system that exists on the platform. Okay, I'm going to share that with you right here tonight. It starts with the brand. Okay, then it goes to category, subcategory, and then the ASIN. Now, here's the key. If you get blocked at the brand level, then you're locked out everywhere. Okay, there's just no getting around it. But getting blocked out at a category or a subcategory, that's okay. That can mean you're still approved for the brand, just in different categories. Getting blocked for an ASIN, even after you have brand approval, doesn't mean that you're blocked in all the others. Okay, and here's where the traditional approach has gone wrong. And I did this too for a while. Okay, someone will give you one ASIN per brand and have you check it. And now that you understand that 4-level system, you know that one ASIN could be gating you out, and you could be approved to sell that brand in a whole bunch of other ASINs in other categories. So we show you how to build a master list from over 5,000 brands that are sourced from over 800 retail stores, pre-classified as single category or multi-category brands, okay, and only selected from the stores that we choose to shop from. Then we're going to mine those brands using the Keepa product finder to find all matching listings that meet your velocity criteria. Then we're going to filter those for what you're approved using a bulk approval tool called Gatekeep. And I've had clients go from over 5,000 brands to over 50,000 matching listings that filter down to over 30,000 approved, just like we were talking about with Dean. You walk out knowing exactly what you can sell. And then you run this every quarter as your approvals expand, and each time your patch of opportunity gets bigger and bigger. The next module is sourcing solved. Now you've got those 30,000 ASINs, right, that you're approved to sell. How are you going to source them? One at a time? Heck no. You take your approved ASINs in batches of 10,000 and you match them to retail sources, trusted retail sources, by the way, with buy costs in under 10 minutes using Arbisource's reverse scan. And by the way, that is 10 minutes per 10,000. So if you have 50,000 approved ASINs, darn, you might have to do it 5 times. Good problem to have, right? But what you're going to get, links, buy costs, in-stock status, all matched. Okay, it didn't need a VA, it didn't need a 70-hour manual grind. We are also going to provide our trusted sources document. This is a 5-tier ranking of over 800 suppliers classified by documentation type, including the stores on tactical arbitrage and stores that you might have seen on a lead list. Okay, and this is important because you need to know which stores can potentially give you an invoice, which ones give you a receipt, and which do not have the paperwork that can withstand a chain of custody or an authenticity inquiry from Amazon. Plus, you're going to get the sourcing solved SOP, so you can give that right to your VA. You don't have to go back and watch the video, and they can run it on your behalf. Now, Keepa is near and dear to my heart. We kind of owned that Keepa space in the My Silent Team community for a while, and I still love it. This Keepa config, Keepa setup, I don't have a great name for it. It's just like you have all this material sitting there, right? You got all these approved ASINs now with matching sources. How are you going to analyze them? Well, when you first install Keepa, the out-of-the-box experience can be a bit of a mess, right? Every line is turned on and every chart looks like someone sneezed on it. Or if it wasn't, you turned them all on because you don't know what's going on. And we're going to walk you through getting it properly configured for your business in one sitting. So extension settings, chart appearance, time ranges, tracking, price alerts, all that good stuff. Then we're going to dive into Product Finder. We're going to talk about how to filter 1.4 billion ASINs down to yours, filter to your preferences, including offer counts and that bought in the past month metric that we were talking about earlier. Then the product viewer, you can paste 10,000 ASINs or UPCs and get full Keepa data on every product in minutes. So there's no more of this one at a time lookup, right? And I'm going to show you how to configure your columns so that you can save up to 5 clean presets so you can only see what matters, right? That yellow line we talked about, you'll have that set up and knowing exactly what you're looking at. So finally, Keepa deep dive. This is where it all comes together. So this is this is where if you look hard enough, you'll see everything that we put in our book is here. Okay. We're going to go through a 5-second pre-flight inspection. You're asking one question: Is this listing going to get me in trouble if I sell on it? Right? Does the brand name match the title, the image, the brand field, etc.? And if the listing is confusing, then we got to move on. We just don't have time for that. We have, remember, how many thousands of listings to get through. So then the 3-step check. The 3 things you need to know before you can make a buying decision. So velocity. Does the yellow line show that this product actually sells? If there's no yellow line, then move on until you've exhausted all the listings with all the yellow lines. And then if you want to get creative and start coming back and experimenting on the ones that don't have yellow lines, great. Step 2, capital protection. Visualize your break even on the chart using what you may have heard about called path profit zones. Okay, so if the buy box stays below your break even for however many days you configure, then it's a pass. And then 3, potential profit. You decide, again, what that looks like for your business. We're saying target 20 to 40% ROI after all of your ASIN level expenses, including, using the historical pricing evidence, not the current snapshot. This is where so many people get it wrong, right? We don't care what the current buy box says. It is hard to untrain yourself to stop looking at that thing when you first get onto a listing, especially when your calculator is right there and it's telling you, nope, you can't make any money on this. But once you know that, you can make a confident buying decision in 60 seconds. And then I walk you through a lot of product evaluations on real ASINs so that you can see the framework applied start to finish. So I know what you might be thinking after hearing all 4 of those. Like, how much time does this actually take every week once it's set up? And this is where the pipeline really pays off. Okay. Your sourcing sessions, actually the sourcing sessions, not the matching sessions and doing all that ASIN discovery, about 10 minutes per batch when you're matching them to, sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there. It takes about 10 minutes per session to match. Okay. The product evaluation, the part where you're actually making buying decisions, now that's about 30 minutes a week. Okay. And the approval refresh is quarterly. This, like, we're running the check on approvals about once a quarter. So you're not doing all of this every week. You build it once and then you maintain it. So there is front loaded work. That part is real. But anyone who's been at this for a minute knows that you can't really avoid that in any business. But the ongoing time commitment is surprisingly small once your system is up and running. So let's talk about what you get here. Okay. You get included in various parts of this stack. You're going to get our brand master list. Okay, this is over 5,000 brand names sourced from over 800 retail stores that are pre-classified and only selected from the stores that we choose to shop from. Okay, from my trusted sources list. And I'll tell you how we got that list in just a minute. You're going to get the Keepa product finder link generator. This is a tool that I built. Actually, Claude built it for me. Thanks, Claude. That precedes up to 10,000 brands automatically and creates these groups, the Keepa search groups for you. All right. So you don't have to copy and paste each brand into the brand field, because that's one of the fields that you can't just paste in a whole bunch of brand names. You have to type them in or paste them in one at a time. Well, if you had 600 brands approved, that can take a little bit of time, or it can take about a second with this little tool that I made that helps you save a ton of time. Okay. You're going to get this 5-tier trusted sources framework. Okay. This is our trusted sources document. This is over 800 retailers categorized by the documentation type that they provide. Okay, this is really important. And by the way, the brands that are in that list of 5,000, they all came from the trusted stores, the trusted stores on that list. So we scanned all the stores for the brands they carry. That's what made up that 5,000 brand name list. So we didn't source from stores that have, I'll say like a shady store. Not to say that that brand may not exist in other stores, but we didn't scan those stores for it. Okay. Let's see, you're going to get the sourcing solved SOP. I talked about that. That's something you can give to your VA. The 3-step check and pre-flight checklist. Those are already free on our website, but we'll have it all packaged together for you. You'll get the product evaluation walkthroughs on real ASINs. You're going to get the Arbisource discount code, and you can use that today if you want. It's official Olsons, get you 30% off of your first month. That's what does the sourcing solved part of this. which is a video that I gave away for free just to show the art of what's possible. Okay. You also get a 7-day free trial with Arbisource. So it's like a really great five-week deal. Okay. It's really the best in the business. I don't know anyone else who has the 30% off of your first month discount code. Thank you to Callum over at Arbisource. Now, Gatekeep, I mentioned this tool briefly early on. This is the bulk approval checker. Okay. This is made by a good friend of mine. His name is Ramon. He and his wife, Bobby, have become friends of ours. They're actually coaching clients as well. And we got to meet them a few years ago at the Proven Conference. And then just out of sheer luck, we found out that we're both doing development, product development in apps for the Amazon space. And so Gatekeep for me is what really unlocked this sourcing, this ungating solved module, because historically it's been really painful to find a way to see all the ASINs that you're approved for, but not with Gatekeep. Okay. I think his price has gone up to $9.99 a month, but you'll get your first month for free. Okay. Using the same code, OFFICIALOLSONS. Okay. This is going to be one of the cheapest tools in your toolkit. But it's one of the highest value, I promise you. And that's at gatekeep.tech if you want to go ahead and get it. Like it's not, you don't have to get the course here to get that, either one of those tools, okay? Or the discounts on them. Now, product finder saved presets are something I cover in the Keepa deep dive. Or Keepa setup. I can't remember which one, but you'll want to understand how to set these up, because by default, every single item is turned on when you're in Keepa product finder. When you click on view results and you scan from here to China, basically, to see everything that's on the page. And so I'm going to show you how to fine tune that for your preferences. And the complete extension configuration guide for Keepa. It'll show you exactly how to set up those 5-column presets as well. Now, all for one payment. I don't even know what that payment's going to be yet. Okay. There's no subscription here, except for the supporting tools of Arbisource and Gatekeep and Keepa, which you probably already have, right? And just for coming to this webinar, you're going to get the strategic brief that outlines all of the structural platform changes that we discussed tonight that you can take advantage of. So before we talk about pricing, I want to address something that I know some of you are thinking, right? Like, I'm brand new. Is this too advanced for me? And the answer is a hard no. This system is what I wish I had when I started, because everything in the modern builder stack is built to take you from the beginning, right? Ungating solved assumes you've never mapped your approvals. Sourcing solved assumes you've never done a bulk match. Keepa configuration assumes that you just installed the extension 5 minutes ago. Although if you haven't, we do walk you through actually buying your Keepa subscription and everything in that course too. And then the deep dive walks you through the real evaluations step by step. So you're not behind, you're just starting with better tools than most of us had when we started. So if all this did was finally show you where your margins actually live, give you a repeatable pipeline that you never start from zero on Monday again, and let you make a confident buying decision in 60 seconds, would it be worth it? So the Modern Builder Stack is launching soon, okay? And my slides are not up to date here. I got to apologize in advance. I think this is the only one that's up to date when we get through the pricing. I forgot to, I was going to update that and I just spaced it, ran out of time. So the full price for this is going to, the full like MSRP, if you will, is going to be near 4 figures, but we're opening early access right now, and early access members are going to get first entry and exclusive founding price, even though I know Robin doesn't like the word founding, that will never be available again after the launch period. Okay. Each of these modules, we're starting with Ungating Solved, $347. Now, Sourcing Solved, this is free, by the way. This is one that's already on YouTube. And so if you don't already have it, just go to officialolsons.com/sourcing solved. I might be sourcing-solved. I can't remember. But it's included here as part of the full pipeline so that you have the whole walkthrough. Okay. Then you're going to get the Keepa configuration, which I was talking about. Get your Keepa extension all set up correctly so you can set up your alerts and your lines and bars and everything just the way you want. Another $347 value. So we're at $694. And then we're going to do the Keepa deep dive. This is what kind of what our entire Keepa courses were before, is what's covered in this deep dive. Plus all the supporting materials that I talked about before. So the total price is going to be like, yeah, I think less than $400. I don't even know yet. Okay. Because I may not actually be selling it. So so hang with me for a little bit as we're, um, putting the dots on some I's and crosses on some T's here in the next couple of days. So this is founding pricing, never to be available again after the launch period. So there's no obligation to get on the early access list. Okay, I just want you to be the first to know and to have first shot at that rate. If you are a PAC student, if you're a coaching client, I'm sure there are going to be discounts there. So if $400 is a sticker shock for you, just don't sweat it. I'm sure there's going to be an irresistible offer. Okay. So you got two options here. Keep running the same process and hope something changes, or get yourself the updated map, right? Build the pipeline, start making some decisions backed by data, not by some hope. Hope's not a plan. You can get to this sign up page here at officialolsons.com/MBS. So here's my guarantee to you, okay? If you do the work, in other words, you watch the courses, build your ASINs, your ASIN list from trusted brands, run your first bulk sourcing session, configure a Keepa, apply the 3-step check, and do all that stuff, okay? And you check at least 10 ASINs that pass your testing criteria. If you're willing to do all that work and you honestly feel like the system hasn't delivered, then I'm willing to make it right and I'll give you all your money back. Okay. Just email me personally, whatever that money amount happens to be, which is very much TBD. All right. So the link is on the screen here. Let's open it up for questions. Robin, do we have any questions?
We do not have any questions yet, but
Hey, yes, you do have some questions.
these are already answered. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All of them.
Yeah, they were initial issues that. Okay, we got a raised hand for Larry,
Yeah.
and we have one in the chat. So, which do you
Go
want
ahead,
first?
Larry.
We got to let Larry talk.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Larry, I'm coming. Why don't I see Larry? Oh, because he's there. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. Can you see Kelly's the other questions here while I'm looking to figure out how to let Larry talk? Oh, here he is.
Let me see here.
Hold on, Larry. Now you can talk.
Oh, can you
Larry,
hear me now?
You're on.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, I've listened to you guys for years, by the way. This is really cool.
Thank you.
Can you just reiterate? I think the thing about this that has me doing backflips, those 800 stores, for lack of that you mentioned. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned you categorize them by what documentation they provide, etc. But are they all legit? I guess is the bottom line question.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the entire reason that I categorize them is to help define legitimacy for me and my business. Now I have to be careful here. And for a long time, people asked me like, hey, how do would you tell me which stores to shop at? And I was reticent to do so, not because I was afraid of giving away my sources, like we all shop at pretty much the same stores, but because I didn't want to say, hey, this site is good because it is today. And then, Amazon's famous for moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
And then it's not accepted next month. But after much deliberation, Robin Joy and I decided, okay, if we disclaimer this thing enough and just say this is our list, feel free to use it. I'm not saying this is not legal advice, right? This is not Jeff Schick telling you this. This is our best practices for a defensible business that we operate.
Gotcha. And so the tiers of, they each provide different levels of documentation. That's kind of like a asterisk buy at your own risk type thing then.
So I'll tell you exactly what they are, right? Tier 1 is the direct to consumer. So these are the brands that already sell directly to us. Tier 2 are your regional and national chain stores, like the stores we all already know, love, and trust.
Yep.
And then Tier 3 are the brand authorized distributors. These are like suppliers that have been authorized by the example I always give is like Acme Tools. Acme Tools has been authorized by Craftsman, Milwaukee, Makita to sell tools, right? So those sources at the Tier 3 level are almost as good as the Tier 1 level. Now, tier 4 is sort of the gray area. These are a lot of the TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, Sierra, where they tend to get
Okay.
those kinds of the receipts are
Yep.
questionable. I mean, the receipts are okay, but it takes a little bit more to stand
Yep.
up to.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And then tier 5
Okay.
is like obvious liquidators.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, buddy, can you see those questions and
I
answer
can't.
them?
No, I
All
can't.
right.
You'll have to help me out.
Oh, you can't. Okay. So, first question, is this good to have if you have 3P? 3P mercury, I'm assuming she's talking about?
Yes. So what is the what really powers this after you get your approved ASINs list is you need a database to store them all, because what are you going to do? Like, you can use a spreadsheet for a while, but spreadsheets start to get choked up the more data you put in them. So eventually it's nice to have a lead vault like 3P Mercury has to store your leads in.
Okay, we got 9 more questions.
Okay.
So, is there live help during the course?
You can not live help. No. It's not like we're in a a room together doing it,
Yeah.
but you can drop me an email, or you can email hello at Official Olsons, or me at Official Olsons, or Robin, and we'll certainly respond. Yeah.
Okay, for us poor folk, will there be a payment plan available?
Probably, yeah. I'm open to payment plans for sure.
Yeah, again, the pricing, we're still
Yeah.
pinning down the pricing. We're
Yeah.
talking to all the people involved. So, all right, will this work with 3P Mercury? I already answered
Yep.
that. Will it be a lifetime membership?
Yep. Lifetime access. Yep.
Buy it, you own it.
Yep. Buy it, you own it. Yep. No subscription there, like I said, except for the other tools.
Okay. Donald says hello. Hey, how you doing, dude? Also, can you purchase online with the stores you have? With the stores you have, can you purchase online? I'm having a problem ordering
Yes.
online and having shipping being offered.
Yeah, all these stores. Okay, so basically the stores came from Arbisource and Tactical Arbitrage. Okay, and the stores that I've used or have shown up on the lead list that I subscribe to. Those are the stores that we evaluated. So they're all basically OA stores.
So you didn't evaluate like Meyer or HEB or anything?
Yeah, those stores are on the list because you can bulk source a lot of those stores.
Yeah, but not all of them are shippings, but most of them are, right?
That's right. There are some stores in there like Publix. Let's say Publix is one that exists in Arbisource, but they don't ship. So you would need to exclude that store from your approved list of suppliers as well.
Okay. Will we be able to ask you questions about procedures outlined going forward?
Yeah, like I said, just drop us an email. Well, actually, where these courses will live, it depends on where they're going to live. I'm not sure yet. They need to be, for a while, I was, for people who were working with me on the beta test, I was giving them access from our OneDrive, but OneDrive doesn't stream. So we had to put them on a platform, and that platform is not long-term decided yet, but wherever that lives, there's probably going to be a way to interact.
Hi, I've signed up for the early access list for this and previously the simulator tool, but I've
No.
not received confirmation. And
Okay.
no, it's not my spam folder. Am I in?
If you drop your email address in here, I'll double check it. Like our email, we fought with email delivery for a long time, and we've got it ironed out. Like, I know for sure that emails are being delivered. So
I would say better to email at hello@officialolsons.com.
yeah,
That way,
we
if
both get
lose
it.
this chain, we'll still have it. Hello
Yeah.
at officialolsons.com. All O's, no E's.
Yeah.
The purchase
Well, there is an
link.
E. There is an E in hello. Just
You are right. We have to change that.
yeah.
The purchase link again. Can you give them the purchase link again?
It should be up on the screen still. Officialolsons.com/MBS.
MBS. And I just signed up, but the confirmation email has not come through, and it's not my spam folder. Okay.
Okay.
Same thing.
So yeah,
Official
sometimes it can take 10, 15 minutes, but email us and I will make sure that you get on the list.
Okay. And just join the early access list for now. That's all we can do right now?
Yeah, that's all we can do right now. Yep.
Okay. Will there be a special discount for Official Olsons VIP members?
Oh, yes. VIP members.
All
also,
Official Olsons VIP members on the Olson Report get 20% off of all of the content that we sell from
Oh, this,
Official Olsons.
yeah,
Yeah.
this one right here.
At the Olson Report, if you move to the VIP member, that 20% off of our things that we offer
Okay.
is available to you. Okay.
Yep.
When is it available and when will we know the price?
So today is April 7th. I'm hoping for before the end of the month. Okay. And sooner is better. Obviously, I'm ready. I'm ready. We're just working out some last minute details here about where it's going to live. And so it's just a matter of getting it to that platform and then turning the price on and you'll be good to go.
Okay. Thank you for the West Coast Proven Conference. Will you be there and will you have your workshop?
So current plans are yes, but I'll just say, plans can always change, but that is the way things look right now. Yes.
Yeah. Typed in info requested, but email confirmation for early sign up. Is it up and working now?
Yeah, it's up and working.
Okay.
There's some people may have already been on the list. I changed the page, but I used the same sign up form. So if you were already on the MBS list, as it existed previously, you're still on. So you may not get a confirmation.
Okay.
Actually, if you're on any of our lists, you don't get a confirmation. You're already on, right? The confirmation is just like confirming that you want to subscribe. So.
Okay, we've got 26 questions in the
Okay.
pipe right now.
Okay.
We're going to cut that off. And I'm going to read through these. What if you signed up on the early access and no email? The same thing. Hello at officialolsons.com.
Yeah, please do. I do want to confirm, so send that to us.
Okay. And somebody's left their email. We'll get that later. I've submitted my interest, but haven't received the confirmation email. No confirmation here either. Email addresses. Yes. Somebody's asking hello at officialolsons.com. That's right. Officialolsons.com and hello at. Just like, Robin at officialolsons.com, email hello at officialolsons.com. Am I trying to sign up for early access? Oh, I'm trying, but it keeps spinning. Okay. You maybe want to clear your cache or
maybe we killed it. Maybe we broke the website because there was so much traffic.
Yeah, just email us and we'll make sure you get signed up. You can always email us. Yeah. And we got to thank you. Have you been made aware that Quincy has a new product?
Yep.
Okay. And thanks. All right. Whew.
I see a couple more questions. If you want to take them.
I don't see them. Do they go to the top?
No. Someone's asking, do you use Arbisource, have to use Arbisource specifically, or can you use a different tool? I talked about you can also use TA. That's a great tool. Okay. Someone else asked, if everyone here starts doing this, does that 50 to 200 range get saturated too? I don't have the exact count, but I will tell you there are a boatload of listings in the 50 to 200 range. A ton. So it's like 1.4 billion ASINs. I mean, there's not 1.4 billion in that range, but there's a lot. Okay. In fact, if you start slicing some data on Keepa, you'll find that most things are above that 500 a month, and we've got a nice, real sweet spot here. All right.
All right. Okay, we got through all that. Thank you for all your questions and participation. We appreciate you all. Please email.
There's one more raised hand, Robin.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Raise
Patrick.
Hand. I got to let him talk. Hold on.
Okay.
I got to find him in alphabetical. There are a lot of people here. Sorry about that.
He's not at the top because his hand is raised?
No, I can't. Something keeps getting in front of my clicker. Okay, Patrick, can we hear you now? Can we hear you now? That's backwards. Is that the wrong Patrick? Okay, try again.
Patrick O'Connor.
O'Connor, yeah.
I got it. No,
okay.
Go, Patrick.
The raised hands are.
Oh, I got it. There you go. You're good, Patrick. Go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
There he is. Sorry about that.
I had something messed up. Can you use Nepeto for that too, or do you have to have Arbor source?
Yeah, you can use Nepeto. You can use Nepeto. I didn't rank the stores on Nepeto, but there's going to be a
Okay.
lot of overlap. So feel free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And then, and one other hand. Who's the other hand? I have Gatekeep. I would love to see content on how to judge product pages with mismatched product brand, detected brand, and UPC on GS1 to judge which are legitimate to list on.
Hey, that's a good thing we cover in the pre-flight inspection. So it doesn't do a GS1 check yet. That's also something we're investigating, but we do cover that in the pre-flight inspection. You can actually get that right out of our book if you have it.
Okay, Todd's next, and I can't find him in the list. Do you see him? Here he is. There you go. Now I see how to find you guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. You may have covered this, but so I'm a member of, I think it's the Olson Report. It's like $9 a month or
Yep.
97 a year. And there's something called the VIP experience.
Mhm.
And I was just skimming that to figure out, is there overlap between that and this new builder stack? Do I want both of these things? Do I only want one of these things? Gets a little bit confusing with so
I
many
know,
different
right?
offerings.
Yeah. So the VIP offering on Substack is just access to additional materials that we create and discounts on the other products that we have. So it's not like this at all. This offer is not there.
This
Okay.
offer, if you are VIP though, you get 20% off of this offer
Yeah.
as part of your VIP membership.
Yeah.
I see. And what does it cost to become the VIP member?
$197, I think. Let me look that up. Oh, can't find it really quickly here. But it is, if you'll email us, we will get you that information. Or you can find it at officialolsons.com and click on the newsletter, and it'll give you all the options of newsletter. VIP is one of them.
I think it's
Okay.
197. Yeah.
I think
And
it's
there was
197.
is built again, I apologize because it's been sometimes challenging to figure out what's what. Is Builder's Circle still an active product, or is that just a space that you can join? Or I'm just trying to get my head around all of the various things that you guys do.
I know, right? So are we. So
Yeah, Builder
so
Circle. If you have VIP experience, you have the Builder
Builder
Circle
Circle.
is
Yeah.
included.
Yeah.
The
It's like
difference between the free version, which is the Olson Report, and the Builder Circle is that when you're in the Builder Circle, you also get Keep a Corner once a week and a Mastermind Minute article once a week. These are additional articles that you get regularly. If you're VIP, you get all of that plus 20% off, and most of our low offers, we just give them to you for free, our low
Okay.
value ones.
All right. And the thing that I paid, I think there was some kind of special deal. It was like $49 for the year instead of, I don't remember how it happened. I think it's normally 97 or 99 or something, but that's Builder Circle or that's Olson
That's
Report.
Builder Circle.
That is, oh, so I already have it. Okay. You
Yeah.
see? Look how smart I
Yeah.
am. All
Yeah,
right.
you just don't
Thank
have
you.
the VIP version. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Somebody's looking for the pathway extension. I think he's talking about
Path Profit Zones.
profit zones. Where can we get that?
Pathprofitzones.com will get you over to get signed up, and then we'll send you the link to download the extension from the Chrome store. Or you can go to the Chrome store and look up Path Profit Zones. It's right there. There's no other extension called that.
Okay. Oh, there are some people who have VIP. They know about VIP. They're saying 197 is the right price there.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this part of MST or Legends?
Not yet.
Not yet. We collaborate with them in most of our stuff. So we're still working out the details there. Went to laptop and it went through. I went to the laptop and it went through. Okay, good. Okay, we got to cut this off, Brian. We have another meeting we got to get to. So thank you all very much. We will be sending a recording and we will be doing a drawing for everyone who attended the webinar to give someone a signed hard copy of our book Path. So we'll be contacting you in email, and then you will then we'll get your mailing address, and we'll send that to you. All right.
And one more thing, everyone's getting the strategic brief as well.
Yes, that'll come in email with the recording.
Yeah.
Annie's got one question. Go ahead, quick.
Oh no, it was just missed type. I pressed something, it was wrong. Sorry.
Okay,
no worries.
No problem. All right, we're going to say everybody goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be sending you more information about more webinars that are coming. You will find most of that information at the Builders Circle or the Olson Report. OFFICIALOLSONS.com is where you can get all the information. Okay? Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.